Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining and for coming back. This is Joanna the Medium and your intuitive coach. Just very quickly, these are going to be your October readings. I use different cards, sometimes different decks in different readings. Always remember these are general readings, so if you would like a private session, that information is down below for you. Also, if you would like to have the long-term forecast from July until the end of the year, you can do so, or you can purchase those videos on my video page or Vimeo page, and that information is also down below for you. I don't think I have anything that is pressing other than thank you so much for watching, for liking, and for sharing. I always want to make sure that I say this first and foremost, because without you, I wouldn't be doing this. And remember that these messages are general, like I said, and they may not apply to all of you. Some messages may apply to some of you. Some messages may apply to different parts of your life, or a little bit of my message may apply to some of your life. So take what makes sense and discard what doesn't. But always remember, it is almost always, these messages never make sense at the beginning of a month, and they almost always make sense towards the end of the month and the beginning of the next month, which would be November, for this series. So also listen to your moon sign and your rising sign, as these may offer you greater clarity. And I think that's all I have. Enjoy these videos, and I look forward to hearing from you. And if you wish to book a reading with me, that information is down below for you. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Hello, beautiful Taurians. This is going to be your message for the month of October. I'm actually quite excited about this message because it's also, in part, a message for me. I'm a Taurus, for many of you who know, and for those of you who don't, well, there you go. Okay, so very different energy. I was working with another sign. It was completely different, and then I asked about Taurus, and the energy just completely shifted. So as I'm connecting with this reading, there is a lot of excitement. There's very much a feeling that something is building up. There's an energy that is building up for the purpose of something to take off. So I will tell you some of the channeled information that I received as I was meditating on Taurus. I saw an image, so a couple of things. Number 6 was shown to me, which is very nurturing energy. It's also energy about balance. So that is a big part of the reading, which we will incorporate into. But I also saw the number 16. I don't know why the number 16 was being shown to me. As a matter of fact, I never know why these numbers are shown to me, aside from the meaning that I derive. So for those of you who connect with the number 16 years of age, 16 years ago, unit number 16, some kind of digit, date, or something with the number 16, if that makes sense to you, perfect, let me know in the comments down below, because that's always very interesting. So as I was connecting with your energy, I felt that you were waiting for the big fish, and this was an actual image of you sitting and having your fishing rod in the water, and you're patiently waiting for the big fish to bite. Because, you know, for those of you who fish, I used to fish when I was young, you always want it to be big, not small. So there's an element of waiting, yes, but there's also an element of excitement. I felt very clearly that you were, so February came up. Sorry if I'm all over the place. This is the energy that I actually feel. February came up when I was feeling and sensing you waiting for the big fish to bite. So if something happens to around February for you, it won't make sense to you right now. So that's something to kind of put on the shelf and see if it makes sense to you down the road. I also saw you prepping your foundation, whatever the foundation is that you are working on, whether it be work, whether it be work career, whether it be relationship, or whether it be health. I saw very clearly someone putting and fixing bricks. So there may be an element that 1 or 2 or 3 of you are working on a foundation for your physical house. Absolutely. Or you work in a capacity where you are laying groundwork for a physical structure to be built. So that is definitely something that's going to connect with some of you, but it's certainly not most of you or the rest of you. The rest of you, it is about prepping your working foundation in order for it to withstand the weight of what is coming towards you. And this is metaphor, but I believe you guys understand what I mean by this, or you will understand at some point, hopefully. What I saw a train arriving and you stepping onto the train and moving forward. Train to me signifies different things. In this image, there is a strength. The train represents also a journey. The fact that it came and you're stepping onto the train tells me that it's near. Something you have been working on or something you have been working towards. For some of you all your life, for some of you potentially for the last 7, 10, 8, however many years. But I feel like you're just about ready to step onto the train, if you will, and take off. This train, because it's so solid and because it's made of metal, it signifies to me strength, solidity, sustenance, importance, yes, but also, what's the word I'm looking for, please? The structure with which you are working, or whatever it's going to come to you, the structure around it is very strong and solid, which is really important for you to lay the groundwork on your foundation in order to withstand the train. And that's a metaphor, and you understand what this means. So that was shown to me very, very clearly. For some of you, you are waiting for the train to come. So even though it feels like it's near, there is still an element of wait. But I feel very much that anticipation in my heart. Some of you, I heard, writing or directing. So some of you might be moving in a direction where you are going to be writing or directing, or both. That was shown to me and said to me very, very clearly. For some of you, this new opportunity will change fundamentally the direction your life takes. So for many of you, you might be working on something. For some of you, you may actually not know what the heck it is that I'm talking about, but it's going to transpire somewhere, I want to say end of this year, but more so beginning of next. And I'm being reminded that a similar message was said to you month prior or couple months prior. So if you want to go back and listen, and if it feels that it's very similar, it is continuation. I feel like October is a continuation of September. So for some signs, there may not be a lot of change, and for some there will be. Let me see, what else did I get? Again, I saw in my image the 8 of Wands, which is very interesting because 10 minutes later it showed up as a card. So that's always fascinating to me. Fast movement forward. Again, there was a lot of excitement with this. And I hear the words ready, set, go. So there's a lot of anticipation, preparation. There's a lot of validity with this energy. Why validity? Whatever you're working on is very important, and you have been working on this for a long time. For some of you, you are working on an aspect in your life, and for some of you, you are laying the groundwork within yourself in order to be strong and capable, in order to undertake whatever is coming your way. And he said to me, big fish. So it signifies many of you are going to be expecting, or you're going to be transitioning into something quite meaningful and quite substantial, I might add. Okay, so I said, okay, show me with cards the overall overarching energy for the month of October. And I took a deck of cards, which I normally never use, but he said, use this deck. So Eight of Wands is what showed up. Now, when I saw this card, I chuckled, because whenever that happens, when I hear a message and I'm being shown a message, then 10 minutes later it shows up in a card from the deck that they told me to use, I am like a kid in a candy store and never ceases to amaze me. So if I seem a little bit giddy, that's why. I just love the energy. But there's a certain element of luminosity with this card. And as you see, there's a lot of, I don't know if you can see clearly, but there's white doves. This to me represents spirit. And these doves seem to be upholding these 8 illuminated wands. So there's something very spectacular about this. The background is pink. There's a sunset, I believe it's in the background. There is no clouds, there's no rain, doesn't seem to be any physical obstruction, which can also signify an inner readiness and an inner cleanliness, if you will, or ripe environment for something to take flight. For some of you, this may represent a journey around the world, or it may represent a journey where you are taking physically a journey or a trip on a train, boat, car, or plane. But plane was shown to me most prominent. For most of you, this is going to be an inner journey. And for some of you, I'm going to rephrase. For most of you, this is going to be an inner journey, or it is an inner journey that will eventually manifest itself in the circumstances around you or outside of you. So I don't know what it is. It feels really magnificent. It feels big. I feel elation with this. I feel slightly nervous. I will tell you that I feel slightly nervous. There's something about... And he says, ready, set, go. So for some of you, you have been working on this, and you will, for many of you, you will understand what it is. For some of you, you'll have no clue what I'm talking about. So come back to this at some point, and it will make sense to you. But the energy around this is 8 again. 8 is auspicious number. It's a strong number. It's the number of power. Wands is the inner element. It's the fire. It's the spirit. It's our passion. So this feels very much work related. For some of you, this will be connected to physical passion towards another person. It can go either way, but a lot of it has to be with career. Now, I don't necessarily feel October is going to be boom, it's going to land at your door, but I feel October, you will start to see, thank you, the beginning of it. It's almost like the universe is going to start dropping crumbs for you to kind of follow the trail, if you will. And there is something very exciting about this. So in the month of October, many of you will receive information. You will receive specific instructions from someone or spirit, or you will receive some information that will help you to move forward towards something with much clearer and with much greater clarity. So that is an overriding message or energy for the month of October. Again, I feel like you're just at the brink of stepping onto something, and it feels absolutely magnificent for many of you, albeit a little bit scary, because I feel whatever this is, you have not been there before. Writing is coming up again, and directing. So for some of you, this is going to be the case. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next cards. So the next card, I said, okay, what is it that we need to work on? I actually asked a few questions, and every time I asked the question, they said, rephrase the question. So I said, help me, what's the right way to ask a question? So it's really interesting for those of you who are working with spirit, that it's important apparently how we phrase the question. And until they actually said to me, rephrase the question, I would be waiting and nothing would be coming. So there's something about phrasing the question. Okay, go ahead. Okay. He says, ask them to pay attention to how we communicate with spirit. Sometimes in the way we phrase our question will give us more information than if we were to phrase a question in a different way, particularly pertaining to things that we want. And he's giving me an example. Just give me 1 second. So the example this is interesting. The example I'm being given is this. How do I get this, or when do I get this, versus how do I prepare, or what do I need to know in order to prepare to get this? You see the difference? One is give, and the other one is what must I do and address within myself in order to get that. That's very, very empowering, because it signifies that you are in the process of creating it versus you're just at the mercy of receiving. So huge, huge difference. Thank you for that. So when I finally asked, what is it that we need to understand in order to move forward with greater clarity, I got the card, time for a nap in this position. Okay, so you can't see it very clearly, but this is in upright, and this is in protection position, as Colette calls it. So the message about this card is quite simple. Are you a workaholic? Have you been doing, and you're at the point where you are feeling quite exhausted? Again, the groundwork is being shown to me, and it being important in the way you maintain your foundation in order for whatever is about to come. So if you have been overextending yourself, if you have been overworking, if you have been doing way more than you think you should have, if you have been go, your foundation will not be ready to withstand whatever is coming. So this is a bit of a warning, but a bit of a slap on the hand, if you will, to say, okay, you're working really hard, you want something, now you've worked really hard, time for rest, let us do the rest of the work. And hence why the feeling of excitement and exhilaration, but I can't quite grasp it yet, it isn't ready. So this is a message for those of you who seem to be working, and tirelessly trying to do. And the message is stop, relax, take a seat back, and let this unfold. And again, I'm being given the proverbial gestation period of a baby as a metaphor. When a baby is conceived, before it comes out, for the most part, it needs 9 months thereabouts, okay? If it is pushed out earlier, number one, if to be pushed out by force, it always ends up in an incubator. Some things usually don't go right. Point I'm trying to make is everything has a gestation period. So even what you are apparently working on, if you feel there is some kind of a big career change, or if something is changing in a relationship, or you're working towards getting something off the ground, there's a time where you need to rest and just be okay with where things are right now, until such time comes where you will again receive information that it's time to go. And the interesting part is that the next card, when I said, okay, what else do we need to know in order to prepare? The card of happy came up. So this is a card of contentment. This is a message of contentment. This is about knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, and things are going to come as if effortlessly to you. Not because you've been sitting there and doing nothing, but precisely because you have been working very, very hard in order to, in order to conceive of something that will be coming to you fairly shortly. So the message here is pause relax, be happy, because you are exactly where, apologies about this. Okay, so just be happy because you are exactly where you need to be, and everything is going to come to you as if effortlessly. So this is, it seems to be a bit of a moment of waiting. You've done all the hard work. You have laid all the groundwork, if you will. And now this is about a time of receiving and not so much of doing. Yes, there is some prep work to be done. They are showing me there is still some prep work to be done, but most of the prep work has to be on, or is to be done on, the inner you, strengthening your resolve, strengthening your inner abilities, not necessarily skill. This is more about strengthening your belief and your resolve. So belief within yourself and resolve. And you can take that message as those two and see how that fits within your life. So when it comes to partnerships and relationships, this is basically saying, enjoy where you are. If you're in a happy relationship, enjoy it for what it is, and basically allow yourself to be happy in it. If you are not in that kind of a relationship, well, that's not a message for you. But this is for people who are working on something big. So if you are in a relationship and you want to take it to the next step, maybe don't push so hard. Again, don't push so hard, and let it unfold in due time. When it comes to prosperity, you have laid the foundation that is going to bring you prosperity going forward. And I do feel it's just beyond my reach. So this is a message of, now it's not a time of doing. Now it's time of just being happy, enjoying where you are right now, making sure your foundation, the inner you, is strong, making sure your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, that you are very strong, and just not laying low, but just allowing things to come to you in due time. I do feel that there will be some prep work again towards the end of the year. I don't know what that means. It could be that you receive something and you're going to be preparing for the big fish. But right now, the month of October is a little bit of, I want to say, layoff. It's not that you're going to be laid off. It's about laying off and not trying so hard. It's just about being. Being happy also attracts more happiness. So I said, okay, show me what additional messages do you have for Taurus? And the card of drive came through. So this is about being focused in a specific direction. But it doesn't mean necessarily to go. It can, but it seems the message here is, particularly paired with this one, there's a difference between doing and there's a difference between overdoing and overextending. So again, thank you. He's reminding me the card of the number 6, which came at the very beginning, which is the number of balance and number of, it's a very motherly number, or maternal, I should say, number, not maternal, but it's also the number of balance and harmony. Yes, it can be number of sacrifice, or the message of sacrifice, but this feels more about inner sustenance and just being grounded. Well, this is also a very grounding card, being very balanced. That's what I want. That's what I want to say. So this Ganesha seems to be charging forward on, and these, I believe these are 2 little elephants. Are those 2 elephants? No, they're other beings. I don't know what they are. And he is moving forward in one direction. He has a very opulent chariot, if you will, and this could actually signify a chariot from the traditional tarot deck. You can see that he is leaving the treacherous mountains behind him, and he's moving away. There's more greenery, so he's moving more into a smoother roads ahead. He's moving away from mountains, which signifies also challenges. So the bigger message here is that you're moving forward towards something greater. Passion, I hear the word passion. Something greater, something much more meaningful to you for many of you. And this could be work, this could be relationship. Like I said, this card, Eight of Wands, signifies work on relationships. This card also, thank you, signifies travel. So for some of you, you might be presented with opportunities to travel. You might be traveling for work or pleasure in the month of October, but this feels more of a longer distance than you normally would if you travel to work. So this is not travel that's work related, unless it's something new and you're given the opportunity to travel because your work is now presenting that to you. But the travel aspect is, it's different than what's normally your norm. I'm going to put it that way. So that's one message. So there's an aspect of travel or traveling. The other message is spiritual practice. So this is all about abundance, but it's also about grounding, gratitude and grounding. So the message here with this card is, as you are awaiting in this period, as you are in this gestation period, if you will, keep focused in your mind, keep envisioning where you're going, but don't necessarily overwork yourself or focus on doing. You've done the hard work. Now it's about the inner work, and it's about sustenance and making sure that the foundation you have laid forward or laid forth will sustain or is strong enough in order to withstand whatever weight is coming at you. And this is positive, but it is weighty. There's definitely, so physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, you have to make sure that you are very strong for whatever is coming. For some of you, you might be getting ready for a baby to arrive, and that can certainly signify a gestation period, of course. Typically not what I would get with these cards, but that came to me, so I'm passing it on to you as well. This is also about focusing on the spiritual aspect of yourself and doing things that fundamentally support your spirituality. So whether it is praying, whether it is incense, whether it's some kind of a ritual that you do, it could also be working with crystals. That's what I was shown just now. Amethyst is coming to mind right away. So for some of you, it could be working with an amethyst. Anything that will act as a grounding force to give you the strength and the sustenance that you will need going forward. And I don't know what it is, guys, that you're working on. I certainly don't necessarily know what it is for me, but it's a big fish, and that's an analogy, or that's a metaphor, and big fish always signifies something big. So, for those of you who are working on something, or even those of you who are not aware, it feels like for most of you that I'm connecting with, I'm being told this will mean something to you by the end of the year. You will understand what I'm talking about. And for some of you, in October, you will have little sprinklings of it, just to give you an indication of what's to come. So I'm going to leave that with you. And I hear, if you're nervous or anxious, don't worry. This is not something to be scared of, but it is big. So anyway, I wish you a wonderful month of October. If you want to comment down below, if this makes sense to you, I would love to hear it or read it. And until November, I wish you best of luck. Take care.